What's going on, everyone? Chris Mack coming at you today with the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Deluxe Man-Bat figure. This is a beautiful piece, and if you guys do want to pick it up at the time of this recording, it is available on Big Bad Toy Store. But as I always say, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is you can get your action figures and comics and grab this figure. So we see Man-Bat here. Not a lot we can see in terms of accessories. We'll get into that. Man-Bat, DC Multiverse. Nothing on the top. Side window, just like every other figure. Beautiful comic book art here on the back. If you all know what issue this is from, please let me know, because that is an epic piece of Man-Bat with Batman chained in the back. On the side, Man-Bat, DC Rebirth. On the bottom, nothing really to talk about there. Now, is this figure worth your time? Let's crack it open and take a look at the Man-Bat. Dr. Robert Kirk Langstrom, better known as Man-Bat, was created by Frank Robbins, Neal Adams, and Julius Shorts, first appearing in Detective Comics 400 in June of 1970. According to Neal Adams, the character only came about because he convinced editor Julie Schwartz that DC needed to lock down the name before Marvel did. In Adams' words, "Julie, listen to me. I'm just going to tell you, one time, pay attention. At some point in the future, over at Marvel, somebody's going to be in a story meeting, and they're going to go, why don't we have a character called Man-Bat? And it's going to be pulled right out of your hands, Julie. They're going to take it because you know why? There's no way that DC Comics can say no. There's nothing wrong with the name. Nothing wrong with it. They can do it. They can do whatever they want with Man-Bat. They're going to have it, but we should have it." The three then agreed, and Adams quickly fleshed out a synopsis that introduced Gotham's tragic bat hybrid. Langstrom was a scientist at Gotham Natural History Museum, experimenting in secret on bats. His goal, to replicate their sonar and abilities in humans. But when he tested his serum on himself, it transformed him into a feral bat creature. Acting on instinct more than intellect, he christened himself the Man-Bat. In his first appearance, Langstrom actually fought alongside Batman against the Blackout Gang. But when Batman complimented on his disguise, the Man-Bat recoiled. And as he fled, Batman wondered if he had just found a new ally or a new enemy. By Detective Comics 402, Langstrom's mutation had advanced further. He sprouted leathery wings and gave in to animal instincts. Eventually, he stumbled into the Batcave, where Batman subdued him and began working on an antidote. Unlike most Gotham rogues, Langstrom isn't always a villain. At times, he's retained enough sanity to actually use his powers for good. In 1976, DC even launched a Man-Bat solo series, though it was canceled after just 2 issues due to poor sales. With the New 52 reboot, his origin was reimagined. Langstrom was now attempting to cure deafness through his atavistic gene recall serum, a formula that once again transformed him into the winged creature we now know today. Now that we've established the legacy behind the Man-Bat, how does this figure hold up? And I gotta say that overall, in terms of the way the figure looks, it holds up pretty freaking well. This is a great rendition of Man-Bat. His wings look beautiful. All the nice wrinkles that you see, like the vein work that you would see on a bat's wings. The fur looks great. Musculature looks awesome. The teeth are both awesome and horrendous all at the same time. Little beady red eyes look good. The bat ears look great. I'm a little disappointed that they used more of a pink instead of like a blood red. That would have been great. The ripped jeans to kind of give you know, the transformation werewolf. Vampire, kind of a nod to the Wolfman, looks great. Feet look good with those horrendous toenails. They look like dog's feet. On the back, I'm glad that they didn't shirk and continue to do the dry brushing and the darkening and making the jeans look right, rippling where they should. I like the way the wings bend. I do wish that they would have used like a soft type of material so that you could fold these in and out, but it is what it is. At least in terms of the sculpting, it looks absolutely beautiful. The wrinkles in the ear, overall, makes for a great looking piece. Now, as for articulation, it's kind of a joke. I'm not trying to be negative Nelly, but man, whoever designed this should be kicked in the shin or made to step on Legos. Because, I mean, you look at him and he looks beautiful, right? But these feet are so flimsy that you have to really finagle, or else it's constantly, just like with a heavy bat, he is so damn top heavy. And his foot joints, I mean, look at that. Super loose. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to shore those up, because it's ridiculous how top heavy he is and how weak they made the feet. And the downfall is you cannot straighten his legs out. It's at a permanent curve, which, just like with the McFarlane Violator and the old school Violator figures, this bend just makes it hard when you know that you could get him to bend better if, well, of course, better sturdier feet, but constant. It's frustrating. But let's get past that. That's the biggest damn of this figure. The rest of it, not too bad. The head, I think that's a dumbbell joint in there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't keep up with that. But you can go down that far back, twist side to side like so, and you get a little bit of play. And then he has an extra joint here, so you can kind of move around this way. I'm glad that this is loose, so you're not hindered by it. It's kind of like a butterfly joint. Not really, but sort of. You can get a good span that way. And because this is soft plastic, you can work a 360 on it. 90-degree arms. Sadly, it's not a complete double joint, but at least there's there. This is probably the biggest thing that irks my Girk. Well, actually, two. A lot of the McFarlane Violators that we've gotten over the years, the mouth can open and close. He's permanently stuck with that, so you can open and close the mouth. That would have been a nice addition. The hands are permanent fists, and I wish for a deluxe figure we would have gotten something better. I know it's supposed to look like he's gripping his wings, but it'd been nice if we could get some swap hands, so if you wanted to like grab a figure and make it look like he's holding him, that would have been good. But unfortunately, we're stuck with that, and that's really, really disappointing. And other than the loose joints, that really chaps my hide, because you're limited at that point. You can't go down that much. He has the double here at the waist and the solar plex. So good range of motion like that, so you can get a good dynamic range. Legs out that far. Legs out that far. Double jointed knees, which is a nice addition. Does have the upper thigh cut there. And other than the feet being super loosey-goosey, up, down, and then, of course, the toe pivot, which I've really started to appreciate. I hated it when it first came out, but, yeah, it's not too bad. And with the butt flap, you can still kind of get his leg back, unlike Hasbro, which, take notes, guys. So, sculpting, beautiful. Paint apps, beautiful. I wish I would have put a little bit of blood, or maybe had a blood variant. I don't know. That would have been nice, but it is what it is. And it would have been interesting to see if, like with the Transformer action figures, if there had been some way to work in some little window so that his red eyes lit up. That would have been really cool. Because, I mean, in certain lighting like this, unless you get like a bounce light, you really cannot see those red eyes. And I really had to bump those up in terms of the photography so that it would show instead of just looking like a blank face. Now, should you get this figure? Yes. If you're a big Batman fan, such as myself, this is one of your collection until we can maybe get a better re-release. But for the time being, the way this one looks, it's beautiful. I just recommend that if you're going to put them on a shelf, that, speaking of accessories, it's this and the trading card. So right here, I'll throw up the front of the card and the back of the card so you guys can check it out at your convenience. As for this deluxe figure, it would have been nice to get like a flight stand or just a couple of, like throw us a bone. We're paying extra for it being a deluxe figure, so give us some freaking accessories, man. So when I opened that up and saw that he came with nothing else, I was disappointed. But nonetheless, we have Man-Bat. What would have been cool is how McFarlane releases the double packs. This would have been great as a double pack, as a Man-Bat and a Kirk Langstrom figure, which I don't think they've done that with the Hulk yet either. I don't know. Well, yeah, they've released one like that, right, with Bruce Banner. It'd just be nice to get the duality so you can kind of do different ideas for action figure photography and what have you. So yes, beautiful figure. Do recommend it with, what do you call it? The flaws aside, still a beautiful piece. And if you're creative enough, you can get some cool poses going on. So yeah, Batman fan for your collection, heck yeah. Now we're putting Man-Bat up against the Injustice Gods, Dr. Fate, the Deluxe Swamp Thing, the Demon Knights Etrigan that we just recently went over, the Page Punchers John Constantine, which we have also gone over, and as well as the Gold Label Deadman, and then my personal favorite, the Mafex Metacom Batman. This thing, guys, if you're looking for a good Batman, so far, my personal opinion, this thing blows all the others out of the water. What's your favorite Batman? Now, with that out of the way, you set Man-Bat up against these figures. He's a relatively decent size. As you can see, Swamp Thing still towers over him. But still, for a Batman collector such as myself, I'm glad to have it, minus the, the design flaws. What do you guys plan to do with your Multiverse, Mafex, or Mezco action figures? Do you pose them by teams? Do you do action figure diorama battle scenes, like grand operatic cinematic scenes? Do you do action figure photography? Take some photos and share them with us over on the socials. We'd love to check them out. When I bought this, I was reluctant to take it out. I was worried that it was going to break, fall apart, because that has happened to me in the past. I was worried that it was going to be cumbersome to photograph. But I got to say that I really did have a good time with this figure. Loose feet joints aside and the balancing, it is a very beautifully sculpted figure. And as I just said, I'm sure that you guys are tired of hearing me say it, but because I'm a huge Batman fan, anytime Batman's rogues or allies come out, I gotta grab it. Not the 6,000 variants or Jokerized versions, but ones that really stay true to the character. And Man-Bat, with the history behind what Neal Adams said in terms of getting the name, Kirk Langstrom is one of those underrated characters that always stands out for me. To me, he's like the equivalent of Kurt Connors in the Spider-Man universe. One of those tragically flawed characters that you root for him, even though sometimes he gives into his baser instincts. So with that said, guys, do you enjoy Man-Bat? If you do, and you want to get this figure, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever there's a get your action figures and comics and grab this figure, or the places that we suggested at the beginning of the video. And if you've enjoyed this review, I really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little sonar bell next, subscribe. That way, as I continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone. Hey y'all, I got some action figures up for sale to make room for future reviews on the channel. If you're interested, hit me up on the socials or shoot me an email. I'm only using PayPal for now. Check out the Google link in the description for pricing and availability. If something grabs you, we can work out a price. And just a heads up, shipping will be additional based on your location. Thanks for supporting the hunt.